A lot of times in country blues, we think of playing in the key of D as having this bright, snappy sound, sort of like something John Hurt might play. Something like that, but there's a darker side, and it really starts to come alive when you play in drop D. That's what we're going to get into in this lesson. All right, so first off, if you're not familiar with drop D, it's basically standard tuning, which I'm in right now, but you take the sixth string from E down a whole step to D. So you just make it match the fourth string in pitch. And so you've got this low D note, and that really lets us finger pickers kind of thump on that and get this dark driving sound, right? So with that, when you pair it with some licks that have more of that blues scale vibe versus a major sound like you heard in that little introduction, then you start to really get this darker side of the key of D when you're playing country blues. And you can come up with licks that sound a little bit, in that bluesier vibe, maybe like this. 4. Alright, so you can tell when you contrast what you just heard with the piece at the very beginning of this lesson, this definitely has a darker vibe. Let's go back to this blues picking, this country blues sound that definitely has like a John Hurt, Mississippi John Hurt sort of sound to it. It's real bright and upbeat, and there's a few reasons for that. The notes that are really right under your fingers when you're fretting a regular D chord here are definitely very major sounding. So that's part of what gives this that real major feel, that happier side, the lighter side of D. But then the other thing is, if you're playing this way, and Mississippi John Hurt did this a lot, you use the fifth string and the fourth string as your alternating bass, but you start with the fifth string, which is not the root note of the chord, that's an A note. And then when you hit the fourth string, there's your root. So that's on the upbeat on every 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives this kind of that upbeat, really contributes to the upbeat sound here. And what we're gonna do is drop to D so that we get a lower bass note to contrast this higher D that was our root bass note in this little example. So you hear how you kind of got that swing, that boom, ga, boom, ga. We don't want that in this particular lesson because we're going for that darker sound. So we're getting into drop D, again, lowering the sixth string in pitch a whole step so that you've got D, that nice low note. And we're gonna thump along with a quarter note pulse. You hit that D and you can even push through to the fifth string, but do it with a palm mute and you really get that thud that we're looking for. And then we're gonna come up here to this D7. So not a D major chord, a D7 to give us that nice dominant 7 bluesy sound. This is just a bar across the top 4 strings at the 7th fret, and then hit the 8th fret on the first string there. That's the flat 7 note. There's your D octave, there's the flat 7. So that's a good note to bring out. Then when we move into this position here for the next little section, you can bend up on this. This is the minor third. It's right here, an F natural. And if you bend up and kind of approach that major third, that's a real bluesy bend. And we're gonna do that while holding this A here on the 5th fret of the first string. So this kind of has that train whistle feel to it. And that's what we're going for here. Then we're gonna move back down kind of into home position, this open position. And you can pull off from the D down to the C, that's the flat 7, we're just in a different octave here. for hitting this A. So you definitely want to have both sounds in your toolkit as a country blues fingerpicker. They're both very cool in very different ways. You've got this bright sound here that you definitely need to know. I love that stuff. In fact, that's taken from a BGI Premium course called Morning Cup, where we really get into that alternating bass in that sort of happier major sound. But here, if you need that contrast, drop D can help you sort of bring out those bluesier tones, and you can play in the more minor and in the more minor pentatonic and minor blues scale sounds. So if you're looking for something new to explore some different sounds on the fretboard, try drop D and work out some cool bluesy licks in drop D. All right, that's it for this lesson. If you're a premium member, then you can check out the accompanying tab for this lesson back on the website. Just look for Tuesday Blues 231. And if you're not already a member, then definitely check it out. Now is a great time. We just launched a huge improvement to the premium members area. I think you're going to dig it, and there's tons of material out there for you to really step up your acoustic blues playing. All right, hit subscribe if you dig this. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you back here next Tuesday for another acoustic blues lesson. Until then, play on.